What's up, SNA fans? Super Ninja Austin with the Raw review now. This is episode 170 of the SNA podcast, and this is the latest edition of Monday Night Raw review, part 18. We're gonna start off today with Jey Uso entering the ring, welcoming the Cleveland, Ohio fans to Monday Night Raw. And this is where he say these words right here. And it seems like that he can use the word yeet now. Like I'm not sure if he made some kind of an agreement with this other wrestler that's from this independent wrestling company that nearly filed a lawsuit against WWE or who was it? It was like or something like that. Yeah, like he nearly sued WWE for it, but it seems like he either let him use made an agreement about using the catchphrase, like only he can wear the shirt and use the catchphrase without them selling the merchandise, or compensate him for using the term he can continue to use it because he's not the same without using it, of course, like which we can all agree on. And I believe the guy that this independent wrestler at that's wrestling at this East Coast wrestling promotion, which I forget the name right now, but I bet he probably noticed and he allow him to use this as long as either he can use it and he can wear the shirt that says Yeet, or and also and and also they cannot use the merchandise, or they compensate him for letting them use the term and put it on the Jey Uso merchandise, like which is probably a heavy penny to they probably gave him for that line, because it was probably worth every penny, like if that's the case, of course. But anyway, we're gonna this is where he's so excited to be here tonight in Cleveland, Ohio, on tonight's Monday Night Raw, and he's also excited uh, to he also excited to see CM Punk back here on WWE as well. Fans were cheering along with the main event. This is where uh, this is where Jey Uso was like, we also lost a real one last week when my Monday Night Raw arch rival Drew McIntyre attacked my boy Sami Zayn and put him on the shelf on the injuries list, is which I believe they said he's not really injured. They just made it sound like that just to write him off the show because he wants to spend some time with his family, like for the rest of December, for the holidays, of course. So that's why they had like it made this into a storyline of Sami Zayn being injured and he's going to be out for the rest of the month of December until January 2024, I bet. But he probably gained some bruises and some what's that bruises, and he's banged up basically. So I guess like he probably got hurt that way, but I don't think he got injured like per se legitimately. Like, but anyway, this is where Jey Uso also added. Let's see. Hmm. Oh yeah, he also added. This is where before he added this, the fans were chanting "Sammy, Sammy, Sammy" all around the arena. This is where Jey Uso's like, yeah, it was by the hands of Drew McIntyre, the guy that will never ever forgive me. And he's like, and Sammy, like, and he's like, came after me, like, and then he came after me and Seth at the main event of last week's match when me and Seth battled it out for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then, and if you ask me, Oos, like Seth, like Drew, you say Drew's trying to be honest. Like, well, I don't think he's being honest. He's actually totally different. Like to seem to me, that's being a two-faced coward. And tonight, it is, I better go face to face with main event Jay here, and then Drew's about to get got. And then this is where Drew McIntyre came out there as soon as after he said that on the line. This is where he's like, "You really calling me a two-face? Like you're talking about it's about me? Like no, it's about you, Jay. Look after me. Like look at me." And he's like, "And why are you praising about CM Punk because?" And making these fans start chanting for him, because if, like y'all really know what kind of a snake he really is. And I should know because I had to travel with him like over a decade ago. And he also said, and then this where he's like, and also I have this to say, for me, is sending an immediate apology to Sami Zayn. And he was like while you're at home watching this, sitting in your couch and regretting your decision of provoking me, Sammy. And he's like, yeah, I have to say, like, sorry, but you made you did this to yourself, and you leave me no choice, and you did. And then he's like, and you also did cross the line there when you talked about my family and then to, and then yeah, and you're lucky you're walking with one good leg right now, which it sounds like a crime encounter. But this is where Drew McIntyre tells Jay, he's like, "See, Jay, what I just did?" And that's called an actual freaking apology. That's how it's done. Like it may not be perfect, but it but that's a capable one when it comes to Drew McIntyre though. And he's like, "You want to keep like you fans want to keep booing me on Raw? Like, so be it. Like, get over it. Like, you think I should get over with the bloodline?" And he's like, and this is where fans were booing, like, "Boo, you're horribly wrong." This is where Drew McIntyre was like, "No, I'm not horribly wrong." Like, you see, like this is the spirit, like Cleveland, like imagine if you can to look at this perspective of you have a family member, what if it's a brother, a sister, mom, dad, son, daughter, you. Like if somebody that's like a arch nemesis of yours that's hurting a family member of yours, like hurt and even to hurt you too, like would you want to get revenge on that particular person? And their fans were like, yes, but at that time, not looking at it in the past because that already passed. Like if you want to get revenge on that particular person that's practically an enemy of yours, you should have did it at that time. Well, I'm not saying that Drew McIntyre didn't try to get revenge on Roman Reigns and the Usos and them, but he's still continuing dragging out from what happened from then, like from he was feuding with them, and he's taking it out on the babyface Jey Uso, which he changed from the past half a year ago. Yeah, I'm right. Yeah, half a year, but back in in May or June of 2023 this year. And this is where he's like, "I want to see y'all's hands raised to see where I'm coming from," which we. And this is where he's like, "For the fear of you, like the truth will set you free." And he's like, and then, yeah, and then and he was like, "Oh, what you have enough?" And he's like, "What's your name?" Right in the front row. And I thought at first I didn't catch on until looking back at it. This is where he said the guy's name, was kind of my name, which he's like, "Hey, what's your name? Like your name's Austin? Like get a shot of Austin. Like the guy, his family, like he don't care about his family. He's a freaking coward." I was thinking like, wait, like is that a reference to this guy right here saying Austin? I was like, how do you know that guy's name? Like, oh, like he already told him that his name is Austin. So yeah, no need to worry about that. But anyways, that's where Drew McIntyre was like, "You're just gonna come out. I think you'll come out here, and you think you're gonna make these fraudulent apologies and and your stupid made up word that don't even exist. Yeet. Like what the hell is that word?" I was like, "A good question," but Jey Uso make it sound really great and awesome. Like just being realistic, like it fits him really good. Like it's like Daniel Bryan with the yes chants, and then we had Kevin Owens with yep, and then we had LA Knight with yeah. I guess this is really good, like in his way. Like I just saying like instead of saying yeah, yes, or yep, you say yeet. I mean, it kind of sounds like a yes in another language, which it's not, but I think in Uso language, it kind of is. This word, but anyways, like you think you can be a totally different Jey Uso than you was with Roman Reigns, and you're gonna be automatically forgiven. This is where Jey Uso's like, hey, like hey Drew, stop! Like that's not how it goes. Like stop! Like clearly you can't dance. Like no, like. And he was like, how about we see Drew McIntyre catch a yeet down? Like well, let me say yeet. And then the fans start chanting yeet, including that Austin, that chubby heavyset guy that's named Austin. Shout out to you, man. Like, and you got an awesome name just like me. Even though I would say it's technically my real name, but not really a first name. Let's just say, yeah. But yeah, shout out to you, bro, and hopefully you had a great night on that show in Cleveland, Ohio. But anyways, this is where we had the match with Jey Uso taking on Drew McIntyre after he called him out and challenged him for a match like in that time, which was the opener match like of tonight's Monday Night Raw, which he hit a right hand after the referee got called for the bell for the timekeeper to ring the bell. This is where Wade Bear's like, wow, that was a very nice cheap shot. This is where Michael Cole corrected him. He's like, that wasn't a cheap shot because the referee just clearly ringed the bell right before Jey Uso started fighting. Which they were starting to fight, even though Drew McIntyre still had his kilt and his jacket on. But Jey Uso didn't care, like as much as he doesn't care about what comes out of his cousin's mouth, Roman Reigns, and even his twin brother's mouth, so self-proclaimed main event Jim Uso. But anyways, that's where like when Drew McIntyre tried to go for a clothesline after he started hitting right hands onto the Scottish Warrior, he ducks out of the way. This is where he clotheslined him out of the ring into the right hand corner, like send him out to the left hand corner, and send him to the left hand corner of the ringside area. With Jey Uso going right on the right hand corner turnbuckle, started raising people up off their chairs, started doing the waves like the main event J wave. This is where the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre got pissed off, threw his coat down, and then took off his kilt, runs towards the ring. And then get ready to battle it out with the main event Jay. Which I'm not sure if I should call him the main event Jay. I should call him the main eventer of the main event, the actual main eventer Uso, I should say. Let me rephrase that. But anyways, let's move on and continue to talk about like this match with Drew and Jay. With Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre coming there charging at Jey Uso. This is where he started hitting right hands right onto the Jey Uso and draping him right onto the lower right corner of the ropes between the bottom and middle ropes by doing a headlock on him until the referee told him to get off him because he was nearly at the 5-second mark. This is where Drew McIntyre started arrogantly taunting the fans like what any typical heel would do. This is where Jey Uso rolled out of the ring trying to catch a breather. This is where Drew McIntyre runs right to the bottom corner ropes and head right to the the right-hand corner of the ringside area to try to go for a charging attack move onto Jey Uso. It's like which it was the Claymore kick, but like he shouldn't have went and tried to go for a Claymore at this time because it was a complete dud to say the least because Jey Uso spotted this. He moved right out of the way, right on time, dodges his Claymore by a pinch of an inch of a second, like. And he sent him right onto Allen the announce table, landing back first. Like this is where Jey Uso runs. This is where he runs back in the ring. This is where he go for a dive, which was a suicide dive right onto Drew McIntyre, sending him down to the ground. With both men was down on their backs. And this is where Jey Uso sends Drew McIntyre back into the ring and continue their fight. This is where he put him in the tree of woe position, like trying to go for a double foot stomp like Dragon Lee did a couple of nights ago to Dominic Mysterio. This is where That's where Drew McIntyre hits a belly-to-belly suplex. Right, like when he got back up onto and to free himself from the Tree of Woe, and send him right into the other side, diagonal from him, send him right towards the lower right-hand corner. While he was getting off afterwards, he fell right off the top of the what's that the top rope of the upper left corner turnbuckles. This is where excuse me, Sammy. But anyway, this is where Drew McIntyre picks up Jey Uso after he hits the belly-to-belly suplex. This is where Jey Uso intercepts and counters, start hitting right hands like if he was his cousin The Rock, like repeatedly, like boom, boom. But this is where Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre tried to hit a right hand onto Jey, but this is where he only hit one, but managed to hit one hit. But this is where Jey Uso started hitting right hands with the fans start chanting yeet, yeet, which I'll say this has to that independent wrestler had to agree on to some kind of a rights deal, like of WWE using the word yeet, and they'll compensate him. There had to be the scenario, which we're probably going to hear that on the news tomorrow, like whether if it's that or he can only use the word yeet into the verdict, I should say, like where Jey Uso only could use the word yeet and use it as his custom-made shirt, but the fans cannot buy it from WWEshop.com no more, unfortunately. Probably like according to the agreement, if that's the case. This is just my theory for now. But anyway, this is where Jey Uso started continuing hitting the right hand. This is where he started doing that wild Uso wiggle arm, like hand spitting the right hand right into the face, like if he was his cousin, the great one, the people's champ. Like, yeah, and this is where Drew McIntyre hits a Glasgow kiss headbutt right onto Jey Uso after he hit a right uppercut right onto him. This is where Drew McIntyre landed right onto the lower right corner. This is where Jimmy Uso was diagonal from him. That is looking like Raphael. Mm-hmm. He used to have an orange mask just like that. Like you see exclusively on my Facebook profile. Like, well, not on my Facebook post. Like from 2019, when I very first started as the Super Ninja Austin persona, by the way. But I'm thinking about getting a new orange mask to match the Ninja Turtles because I already have red, blue, and purple like like Donatello, Leonardo, and Raphael, by the way. But back to the wrestling review of Monday Night Raw. This is where Drew McIntyre tried to go charging right onto Jey Uso, right onto the upper left corner of the turnbuckle. This is where Jey Uso flip him over around the top rope. This is where he hits a right hand strike right onto the forearm, right to the face. This is where Drew McIntyre, try to go for the top rope to catch his ladder right into a crossbody, I believe, which is the ultimate comeback move in sports entertainment. Either that or axe handle, which is the second ultimate comeback move in all of sports entertainment, if not the most. I'll say the most brutal move in sports entertainment, which I don't think it's. I'll say the second ultimate comeback move. This is where Jey Uso dodges out of the way and runs right towards his corner while he dived. This is where Jey Uso hits a super kick right into Jey Uso. Jey Uso hits a super kick right into the midsection of Drew McIntyre. Hits a up. This is where he took off his Jeet shirt, rubbed it around Jey. I keep calling Drew McIntyre Jey Uso. Drew McIntyre's back of his neck. Hits a striking uppercut right down below. This is where Drew McIntyre tried to go for a clothesline. This is where Jey Uso ducked out of the way. This is where he hits a running Samoan drop, which I checked. He is Samoan. He's full-blooded Samoan, to be the exact. But this is where he tried to go for the pin. This is where Drew McIntyre kicks out at 2.999999999, double triple nine, which is a negative 0.1 away from being 3. This is where Jey Uso get ready to hit the running hip attack, which is a similar move that his father did, which is the stink face, but it's more like hitting his backside right into the face of his opponents, more like his Uncle Umaga. like Ooze, which the Usos been doing for a decade now. This is where he was like, this is where he started doing the Uso, which he was getting ready to do so after he did the third time. This is where Drew McIntyre slides out of the way and Jey Uso crashed into the turnbuckle like with nobody home. This is where Drew McIntyre counters. This is where he goes. This is where he runs right towards Jey Uso. Jey Uso trying to go for a clothesline. He ducks right out of the way, which was probably a smart move from McIntyre. Hit the swinging neck breaker. This is where he does the kip up like he usually do. This is where this didn't look good for poor Jey Uso. This is where Drew McIntyre was getting ready to hit the 3-2-1 Claymore right onto the main event master of the Ooze. Not master, I'll say the main event, I'll say leader of the Ooze brothers, I should say. This is where he tried to go for the Claymore kick. This is where Jey Uso intercept him with a super kick, nailing him right into the bullseye. This is where he gives him a super kick right between the eyes. This is where he goes right up on the top rope, get ready to hit the Uso splash right onto Drew McIntyre, but he got the knees up. This is where Drew McIntyre picks him back up, hits the Future Shock DDT right onto him in the middle of the canvas. We try to go for a pin, thinking this is going to give him the 1-2-3, like a couple weeks ago when he fought him in the advantage match, of course. But the total opposite happened this week on Monday Night Raw, because when he tried to go for a pin, the referee counted 1, referee counted 2, but he only got a 2.9999999999999 double triple nines of a negative 0.1 away from being 3. Because as soon as the referee tried to count the 3, this is where Uso got his leg and shoulders right up, kicking up in the air. This is where Drew McIntyre's like, how in the hell he just kicked out? How in the hell he just kicked out? I say, if that's a perfect impression of his Scottish accent. But anyways, let's move. Let's continue into this is where Drew McIntyre tried to go for one of the slickest moves in all of sports entertainment / pro wrestling, and try to pull the strings out of the Tina the turnbuckle. This is where the referee saw this, and he was like, "What the hell you did with the turnbuckle?" This is where Drew McIntyre. This is where Drew McIntyre was getting ready to go with his plan, with him going for the Claymore kick, which it kind of worked, but except for the Claymore the second time, which I believe he was double cursed. But as soon as Jey Uso speared out of the it's because when he tried to go for the Claymore kick, he got intercepted with a spear by Jey Uso, making Drew McIntyre double cursed for not getting a guaranteed Claymore kick onto Jey Uso. Of course not, because usually when he'll try to do something slick at first, it's gonna be not 100% chance that the babyface is gonna come back and hit their finishing move on them, and then even if it doesn't work for the 3 count, it's gonna help the heel to gain some momentum. And even if they try to go for the finishing maneuver, if they're not finishing move the second time, if they're not lucky enough, they're going to get countered, of course, and in a dirty way by the heel. But anyway, this is what pretty much was the case in Jey Uso's case. Even though they hit the spear rather than the Uso splash, but it was a guaranteed, because he made it a guaranteed on his own. This is where Jey Uso was like, yeah, that was not 2, that was 3, and this is where the referee like, no, I counted to 2. I was about to hit 3, but Drew McIntyre. Bob keeps saying that, but anyways, this is where Drew McIntyre kicked out instantly. This is where the referee tried to fix the turnbuckle pad. This is where Drew McIntyre got back up. This is where he started poking the eyes, started cheating, and poking and raking the eyes of Jey Uso, so he cannot see in his eye. This is where it kind of worked. And I'll say, let me tell you, spoiler, even though I'm not going to specify who this other wrestler that got blinded tonight, but you're going to have to see until the very end of this video. That's the clue I'm going to be giving until I recap it. But this is where he started breaking and started repeatedly gouging the eye, trying to knock the eye, try to take the eye out of Jey Uso. Luckily, he didn't do so, but he did distract him by blinding him for a second, by seeing him poking the eye, and it looked like he picked up a 4-leaf clover of luck of the third finishing move. The third finishing move attempt time is a charm, which it was for this case because he must have picked it up, and then this where he used it to be a guaranteed this time after he caught Jey Uso off guard with the rake in the eyes when the referee wasn't looking, and hit him with the Claymore kick and nailed a 1-2-3 to get a victory off of Jey Uso the second time in a row, which he's going to be bragging for the next week. And what you thought about Drew McIntyre getting a win from Jey Uso? Do you think it was very necessary for Drew to get the second win, even though this is just a normal rivalry #1 match rather than a War Games advantage match on who's going to come out first? But other than that, I'll say I'm not sure if Drew McIntyre should have got this win. Only just unless they're properly getting into the feud rather than being in a multi-tag feud, or not tag, a multi-team feud, like 5-on-5 for War Games, for an example. But anyways, yeah, it looks like that's the case. Hopefully they continue this feud and we see Jey Uso get some kind of revenge from the Scotsman. But what we thought about this match, I think it was the number one match of the night, which is something I rarely do. Something I rarely do in mid-card or even opener matches, because usually the main event match is usually the best match of the night. But this time, I think this not because the main event match was a bad match. It's just it had some kind of a odd ending, let's just say. But also, this match genuinely scored the #1 match of the night because for the great performances and seeing where they're heading off into this feud. But we're just gonna move on to the next slide, which there's recapping and hyping up CM Punk from this past Friday on SmackDown about what brand he's gonna sign, and he could possibly face names like the likes of LA Knight, Kevin Owens, even revisit the feud with Randy Orton on SmackDown, or go to Raw and face the guy that everybody's singing the song or I forgot, last but not least on SmackDown, Roman Reigns, in his Universal Championship reign. But yeah, he's I can go to the Raw and face their heavyweight champion, Seth freaking Rollins. Well, he didn't name him; he just referred him. The guy he's singing, he's not even twice the man in the house, twice the man of his own house, more than his wife is. Which that was a reference to his wife Becky Lynch of her nickname is the Man Becky Lynch. But let's move on to. And he even did the mic drop by saying he wants the main event WrestleMania, and doing that by winning the Royal Rumble. And do you think he's going to win the Royal Rumble? Well, I think it's going to be either him or Cody Rhodes, with them being motivated of winning the Rumble and trying to main event WrestleMania. But yeah, let me know what y'all's opinions in the comments down below. But all I can say is the way I see it, that if CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble, he could possibly face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. What if it's night 1 or night 2 of WrestleMania of main eventing the showcase of the Immortals? And if it's Cody Rhodes, he could be main event night 2 once again at WrestleMania against Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. But anyways, let's continue this. Continue Monday Night Raw, what brought to us. That's where we got a hype video of Shinsuke Nakamura, saying Cody. You have did plenty of successful things in WWE, but the sad thing is about you, you're not gonna finish your self-proclaimed story, and you never will. And you never be a story finishing champion, and you never will be, I should say. And I'll say, I don't know about that. This is just coming out of Shinsuke Nakamura. This is just coming out of your mouth, Shinsuke Nakamura, because most people still think Cody Rhodes will be a WWE champion in the future. Like what no matter what a year or day or month it is, like he's gonna be a champion in the foreseeable future. Like, and I think he's gonna be as soon as 2024, he's gonna finally finish that story of being WWE champion. But anyway, this is where he also said, "You say you don't respect me, Cody." Like, well, he said it in Japanese, but they had the subtitles of them saying that. He's like, "That is your weakness," and he's like, "You strive for for uh, the admiration of others," and he said, I freed like myself from that burden a long time ago, and he's like, and I draw my own my destiny. I paint my own story, and that story will it will be Shinsuke Nakamura has been the reborn like thanks to Cody but now I will bring your story like to an end. Like he's like, I am the real nightmare like that you should be fearing, and always remember you ask for this. Like I showed you some mercy, but you're calling for me out to have this match, so I will not show you no kind of mercy. Well, that's what he was referring to, of course. But yeah, I was like, Shinsuke, well, why are you making it sound like it's his fault, but you're the one that called him out rather than calling out CM Punk and even referenced him, but you were rather referring to Cody Rhodes, which that didn't make no sense whatsoever. But I think this is some interesting feud some that we might have wanted to see when it comes into the middle card side of things in the WWE Dream match, of course. But yeah, this is where we have the main event match with Shinsuke Nakamura and Cody Rhodes for the not for the W. I mean, for the main event match. In the main event match of tonight's Monday Night Raw, and let me yeah, like I said before, I'll say it again. It kind of a spoiler alert. It ended in an odd manner. That's all I'm going to describe it. But it still was a really good match to watch, and it was very memorable. But not as memorable like you would say legendary to use the term, but to say the least, if I'm being absolutely honest right now. But this is where we got the judgment. This is where we got the Judgment Day right here complaining about about like with Rhea Ripley claiming that JD Madonna is the weakest link in the Judgment Day, and he cannot even keep R-Truth out of their clubhouse with him trying to decorate Christmas decorations in their locker room / clubhouse, and then this is where Damian Priest's like, yeah, like y'all let them get away with one win, but as far as me and Finn Balor's concerned about the Creed brothers, we're not gonna take them lightly. We're gonna handle business the Judgment Day style, like we always do. And this is where Rhea Ripley's like, yeah, nice to hear that, but this is like saying a leader is a lot easier than being a leader, Priest. This is where Damian Priest was like, you know what, Rhea, I'm for the past couple weeks of you saying that, I'm getting kind of sick and tired of. And this is where Rhea Ripley interrupted him and said I'm not talking about you towards you. Like I'm talking about the fans, like the family. Like I'm sick of the disrespect. The time I remember, we're the ones that run Monday Night Raw. Like I'm not gonna let my own women's division disrespect me. Tonight, I'm gonna make an example of Maxine Dupree. But I'll say you might have made an example out of her, but at the same time, she showed that she could earn herself a women's world championship in the near future. even though she didn't win tonight. Spoiler alert, by the way. But anyways, this is where Maxine Dupree was getting ready for the match, like getting motivated and getting hyped up and getting prepared for the match against Rhea Ripley alongside her male counterparts of the Alpha Academies, Chad Gable and Otis and Akira Tozawa. This is where Ivy Nile and the Creed brothers were being more supportive too. Like this is where it was like, come on, you can do this, Maxine Dupree. You're gonna do it tonight. Like the Creed brothers with the when they're scoring their ticket of being number one contenders of the women's. Now I'm talking about her being women's world, the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions against Damian Priest and Finn Balor. And this is where Maxine Dupree's like, yeah, I'm so excited. You know I got this. And then this is where R-Truth came out of nowhere, and this is where he was being his hilarious self as usual. He thought Alpha Academy and the Creed brothers and Diamond Mine and everybody was having a little Christmas party like 2 weeks before the holiday itself. He was like, "What's up, y'all? Like, y'all having a Christmas party?" And then everybody was like, "Huh? Like, what are you talking about, Truth?" Like, which was the most hilarious. I'll say the number one most hilarious thing in WWE right now. WWE, on Monday Night Raw, I should say, and I'll say exclusively, of course. I was like, yeah, like he's really funny. Like whatever role he's playing as, like whether if he's heel, face, or in the mid card, main event, tag division, he'll bring on, or even in the jobbers line, like what he did with the 24/7 championship, which he made the 24/7 championship very prestigious and relevant. Like I wouldn't say most prestigious championship, but I'll say the most prestigious angle of the 24/7 era. But back in 2019 and 2020, for an example. But anyway, this is where he was like, I got these lights right here that the Judgment Day did not want me to decorate in. And they kicked me out of the clubhouse. But not to worry, I'm going to be a member of the Judgment Day. Whether if it's sooner or later, I will. He's like, I was trying to decorate the Judgment Day. Like, I just got all the neat, I got all the neat and tight decorations for them dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, I got these lights like that's hanging around this week. This is where Chad Gable reminded our troops, like, are you sure you want to team with the Judgment Day? Because they are dangerous. Like, and this is where our truth realized it was like, And this is where and he was thinking about it. This is where Chad Gable also added in. He was like, I'm not trying to break your heart, bro, but like I don't think you're really in the group. Like even when you say you are, or even when you're somehow getting sneaking in their clubhouse, I don't think you're really in the group. Like, no offense, Truth. This is where he starts like he gasped a little bit. He's like, what do you think? Like, you got them all wrong, man. Like maybe they're misunderstood, like dog. Like we need to be the ones that show them the way. Like, but I gotta go, and I gotta go and gotta spread some Christmas cheer. So happy Thanksgiving! I'm like, and this is where everybody like the Diamond Mind and the Alpha Academy were puzzled of what he just said, and they're like, don't you realize that Thanksgiving is passed a few weeks ago? And then we're like 2 weeks away from Christmas. Like, and this is where Otis made a little joke saying like maybe he's still in the Thanksgiving spirit. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like a little leftover, a big R. Like, and then this is where Maxine Dupree was like I'm ready for this. Like, so yeah, sheesh, keep this down. Like that's what she was telling her teammates. Like she's gonna be exactly fine. Which at first it looked like she was like giving it, even if she did lost, like she was gonna give her some plenty of offense. But she only gave a handful of offense, like a very few into the match. Like even slapping her across her face, and then Rhea Ripley was like, did you slap me in the face? Nobody slaps Rhea mommy in the face. Like she's some kind of possessed woman that has Satan himself inside her body. But anyways, this is where I'm not sure if I should have said that, but it seemed like in the case, like not trying to make fun of her in that way, like if she's really possessed. But I'm just saying, like the way she looked like a death stare. The point is, she got a death stare right on the Maxine Dupree. This is where she tried to charge at her, but she blocked her. But she tried to charge at her. But this is where Maxine Dupree dodges her attack onto Rhea. This is where this is where she this is where she tried to grab her from the in the middle of the camp. This is where she tried to go for. This is where she tried to hit an axe handle right onto the back of Maxine Dupree, or should I say just Maxine Dupree? Because even though Samantha Irvin still introduced her as her, but I'm not sure if we should still call her like for the fact that she's no longer the uh the leader of the Maximum Male Model faction. But this is where she nearly got powerbombed by Ripley, but Maxine Dupree hits a right hand right to Rhea Ripley's head. This is where she hits the Hurricane Rana, nearly hitting her right into the lower right corner into the bottom turnbuckle. Like, but she missed it by an inch, like into a botch, I suppose. This is where Maxine Dupree. This is where Rhea Ripley's like, "What the hell do you think you are? I am the Eradicator and your women's world champion." And then this is where she tried to turn around. This is where she gets missile knee drop kick, I should say. Like she got kicked and kneed right into the midsection by the Eradicator, right through the lower right corner of the turnbuckle. This is where Maxine Dupree went back in the middle ropes. She was like, "Oh, thank you," like mocking the women's world champion, looking like a female version of Chad Gable, which his training must have been paying off because she's been given a little, at least a 0.25% of a run for Rhea's money. Even though she don't seem like she's ready for a title opportunity, but she showed that she could be in the near future. We just have to wait and see when that time comes. But anyway, Maxine Dupree runs right through the right hand ropes onto the ropes. This is where Rhea Ripley tried to go for a big boot, but this is where Maxine Dupree ducks out of the way, runs right through the right side ropes. This is where she ducks, got her in the back to belly position, puts her right towards the right hand corner, trying to go for the rolling under German suplex, like her one of her male teammates is finishing maneuvers, like which is Chad Gable. This is where she gets back up, but she gets instantly hit with a running big boot right into the face of Rhea Ripley. This is where Maxine Dupree barely got back up. This is where Rhea Ripley picks her up, put her in a position into the riptide, and got the 1, 2, 3. I was like, of course she would. Like, I kind of expected this from her, but I would have expected more from Maxine Dupree. But despite for giving her a little fight onto this match, I would say this was a really entertaining match. I'll say perhaps a candidate of third match of the night. Like, if I'll say third match of the night for giving an impressive performance, like from Maxine Dupree, of bringing a little bit of offense onto the current women's world championship, women's world champion, I should say, onto the women's world champion. Yeah, not ship. Like otherwise, it would be on the line for tonight's match. But yeah, we could see her get an opportunity, but at least not this time. I would say maybe give her about a half a year or a year a year and a half, and then she'll be ready to be in a part of this division. But what do you thought about this match? Oh yeah, not the 1, 2, 3, because afterwards she hits her Australian cloverleaf lock right onto Maxine Dupree, and then she tapped out from the submission hold, and she got the win that way. This is where we got a hype video from Katana Chance and Kaden Carter up next, like with them talking about they are the women's tag team champions. They're possibly the number one tag team women's tag team championship contenders. And then there's like it seems like if it's impossible until it's done with their package the package video with them like if we would accept it, and then say if we accepted no, we wouldn't be the team that we are today. And this is where And this is where they hyped them up of every time they around, whether if it's Raw or NXT. And this is where Katana Chance said we now like from the past 4 or 5 years in developmental in NXT, we set our eyes on those women's tag team titles here in the main roster, and we're gonna do our best that we can to capture them. And this is where Kaden Carter was like, it's only a matter of time for that to happen, and this is where Katana Chance was like, anything that Kaden and Katana can do, that like, and this is where she let Kaden Carter to finish her sentence by saying, then you haven't seen nothing yet. Which they're good at. They're good at finishing each other's sentence because they're like sisters from other misters. Wait, what? But anyways, up next we got them in their tag team match, teaming up against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. And we're going to start talking about that right here, right now. Well, maybe not exactly just yet. I'll say after this segment with Adam Pearce announcing about if CM Punk's going to sign with the Monday Night Raw brand, and he's like, I bring to you the best in the world, CM Punk. And this is where CM Punk comes in the ring. This is where he looked like he was getting ready to sign the contract. He was like, well, wait, but before I make my decision, he was like, I faced some criticism like as a head-on. Like people don't know this, but I debuted in this exact building here in Cleveland, Ohio, which he referenced when he made his debut in wrestling, and even even referenced about his time teaming with Mickie James and Raven when they were the new members of the Ravens flock, like which that was in Ring of Honor or TNA, or maybe both. Like first it started like it started off probably in Ring of Honor, then they probably brought it to TNA. But yeah, but he even name dropped Mickie James by saying this, by referencing this in his start in professional wrestling. He was like I have Mickie James right in my arms. And there's a true story. We walked down that ramp. We got into this ring, and he's like, "It's so damn good that we're back." And they said, "We're sending you to Louisville, Kentucky. Have fun in OVW, which is the former developmental academy of WWE's, of course, where the likes of John Cena, Batista, Randy Orton, and Brock Lesnar and them came from." And this is where CM Punk was like, "Gosh, I did not want to go Like I embrace being comfortable. Like I learned how to love it. Like exactly. But when I came to the WWE for the first time, like I don't know what I was in for, but I embraced really uncomfortable, and I learned to love it." And he's like, "I triumphantly returned to this town. I get the same building. As world heavyweight champion. Like I was ready to put on the show for everybody here." And he's like. And then Randy Orton happened, which he referenced the time where he cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase 15 years ago onto Edge when he got drafted to Raw and won the Money in the Bank briefcase from that year's WrestleMania when they were doing the annual Money in the Bank matches, ladder match on WrestleMania at the WrestleMania event, of course. And then a couple months later, he cashed in on Edge, which is now going by Adam Copeland, his real name, onto AEW. But yeah, he cashed in on him after Batista did a brutal beatdown because he kind of cost him of being world heavyweight champion, like of beating him but becoming world heavyweight champion. This is where we saw CM Punk cashing in. But he referenced that after he went face to face with Randy Orton, he got attacked by him and his boys. And then even though Kofi Kingston tried to help him out on that fight, he kicks him right into the head backstage in that year. And he's like, I wake up, and then he's like, and he's like, and then they stripped me out of the title because they said I couldn't compete. And And then he's like, "You're no longer the world champion." And I was like, and I was thinking like, Cleveland, you cursed town, like I get that to happen right when I was in Cleveland. And he was like, if any of you fans were there 10 years ago when that happened, like for this story, like that I'm about to tell, like I'm not gonna bore you with details because a lot of it is in my review. I'm focused on the future. I've been focused on the now. I'm focused on everybody here in this building today. Fans are cheering the loudest they could be. And he was like, 10 years ago, I gotta take myself up the hamster wheel. Like I had the for better or for what, I make the hardest decision of my life. And he's like, now I don't regret this. I look back though, and there's always that part of me that I wonder that anybody paid to see CM Punk that day. Like I walked out Cleveland, like, and if they were disappointing, like backstage, I saw a young lady. I told that little girl that her name was what the reminder? It was a backstage. I named by an Indian. Yeah, that's what it. Yeah, this was portrayed by the little kid. And I told her the story when I saw the Roddy Piper appear in WCW television, and as a young wrestling fan at that time, I thought the exact same one, so I understood. So if you're here now, if you're watching it at home, like and you're disappointed that CM Punk walked out at almost a decade ago, I understand. Like, and hell, ladies and gentlemen, I fully apologize for my actions from since then of walking out of nowhere and unprofessional. He's like, I had gone to SmackDown, like, and I had Nick here. See what Nick Aldis had to say. I put either a very substantial offer. And speaking of Nick Aldis, I forgot to say that Drew McIntyre on that promo, he also said that CM Punk he shouldn't sign with Raw. How about Nick Aldis? Well, Nick Aldis sign him instead and be their problem because like I have my fair share of problems with him. Like, well, I'm not sure if they're legit or just part of the show, but we're gonna probably figure that out on the wrestling news. Make sure y'all check out my SNA podcast, SNA podcast wrestling news reports, while also check out my other. But check out the other wrestling YouTubers out there, whether if they're What Culture Wrestling, WrestleMania, and even Slat Rock Wrestling. Shout out to those three YouTubers that do daily wrestling news videos, just like yours truly. But anyway, this is where CM Punk. He's like, I went down to NXT and I met up with Shawn Michaels in the ring, and it reminded me of a 15-year-old CM Punk inside of me, like when I was in the ring with him. And I bet that 15-year-old version of myself is somewhere in the universe right now, who's tickled to death, like he got an offer from Shawn Michaels to help mold the next generation of the next superstar. I was like, perhaps that young guy that could possibly be the next CM Punk, perhaps he could be in a off-screen relationship with a certain former NXT Women's Champion that's friends with Cora Jade. That's also a fan of AJ Lee as much as her best friend Cora Jade is, because she kind of looks like a new, younger version of AJ Lee, if I'm being completely honest. And what would go best with that is to see her with someone like the next CM Punk. Okay, I'm just kidding. I cannot talk about her in her personal life like that, but like that's none of my business. It's just a little joke because for the fact that she and her and Cora Jade's a fan of him and AJ Lee, I thought I might make a little joke out of it. But anyways, let's move. This is where CM Punk, he's like, he was tickled to death, like that he got offered to Shawn Michaels that be like get help mold the next NXT star. CM Punk was like, it is where he asked the fans and folks, saying like, can I be completely honest with you right now? Like, my mind was probably like made up when I look at the calendar and I saw Cleveland. and he was like, Cleveland, like on the schedule. Like, and I'm here to bury those ghosts and here to right a few wrongs. Like, my future starts here now. And I made up my mind where I'm going to sign at. And you couldn't write a television show like 10 years, almost to the day that CM Punk walked out, and regardless how you feel about it, like walk right out, and he walks right back in, which fans start cheering more, like because they love what's coming out of the Chicago-made star's mouth. Because the diehard CM Punk fans are very well invested of seeing CM Punk back in the WWE ring. But I'll say whatever makes CM Punk happy, I'm happy. Like, because he's one of my favorite wrestlers in the WWE or anywhere in professional wrestling. Like, whether if he's in WWE or AEW, I'm happy for him, what he's doing. Like my boy WWE Fan Talk Show said on YouTube. Shout out to you as well. Like, I said, like, whatever, like, controversial situations you're going to be talking about, like, in the news or whatever, like, whether if it's in a positive or negative way, or fans have a fair share of hate or like about him, like I'm still a CM Punk fan. Like, I'm still a CM Punk fan along with the other WWE wrestler that's in the WWE right now. So, yeah, I'll say whatever that makes them happy in the business or outside of happy, I'm happy for them, too. But anyways, this is where CM Punk's like, if you're mad, people, because congratulations, like, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm gonna tell Mr. Adam Pearce here. Like, so Adam Pearce, like, I'm here to sign with the newest superstar of Monday Night Raw, which is CM Punk. And it's where, and he's like, and CM Punk is home. And this is where he shook hands with Adam Pearce, give him a little hug. Like, this is where fans are like, yay! Because it was on Monday Night Raw. Pre-cheers for wearing red today, like I usually wear every Mondays. Like, this is where Adam Pearce was like, yeah, sign here on the dotted line, and you're officially a Monday Night Raw superstar. This is where he signs the contract, signs the deal with Raw in this WWE contract, so he's officially a Monday Night Raw guy, which we all figured that he would be. But I think for number one simple fact reason, which that was going to come up just right after he just signed ink and paper with the deal. This is where he celebrated a little bit, saying like, "Yeah, I am home." This is where the theme music hits that he thought he would never hear anytime soon, and that was "Burn It Down." Oh, wow. Yeah, I thought I'd give you guys a little hum away song like sometimes I do onto these videos, but this is where it comes out here. He stirred up a little rivalry pot here, like, because came out here, he was like, CM Punk here, like a guy that's trying to tear down his company, like, since the day he left this business. But before he's getting into that, this is where Seth Rollins went face to face with the Chicago-made star. A dream match we thought we would never see, like, not even in the next 10 years, like, for the fact that he's going to be away from WWE for another decade, and then he's going to be continuing his career, whether if that being still with AEW or New Japan Pro Wrestling, perhaps, or even TNA. But nope, since he left the company for the second time, being in a brawling fight with another fellow AEW colleague, like, which was Jack Perry, he got not only suspended, he got fired from the company, and then he made his long 9.5-year awaited return to the WWE at Survivor Series last month. But anyway, this is where Seth Rollins was like, no, like, you don't know how very incredibly fortunate that you are, Punk, right now, and you could be standing in this ring right now, like, well, but you just do one little favor here, Punk. Let me do one little favor, one thing, please, and that is, don't you dare call this place your home. And Punk's like, really? Like, I may have said some bad things about this place before, but that doesn't mean I have a change of heart. Like, and you're talking about telling Drew McIntyre to move on. Like you're not even double times better than he is. Like, for not being forgiven to me. That's what CM Punk looked in his eyes when he said that. This is where Seth Rollins had that huge, angry, mugging face right across in his eyes and his facial expression towards CM Punk. He was like CM Punk was smiling, crossing his arms, like while the fans were chanting CM Punk like they've been doing for the past decade. When he was, and this was like, you abandoned this place, Punk, like almost 10 years ago. Not only you abandoned it, you actively tried to tear it down, to the ground. Like, you spent 10 years slandering me, slandering every single person back in that locker room, and then you want to walk back here and call this place your home. This is not your home. This is my home, and I am the best in the world. And CM Punk's like, are you done yet, or are you going to continue? This is where Seth Rollins is like, wow, like, you're not really phased at all. Like, perhaps you probably have changed, but I'm not buying it. This is where fans start humming along and so, Now, I've been here. Like, everybody in the back, knows all my brothers and sisters. Like, those are my brothers. Everybody here, everybody watching at home, including Super Ninja Austin. Well, he didn't say the last one. I was just making a joke because he did say people at home watching, which he looked like on the TV screen, or at least on my computer screen that I was watching off of, along with my nephew and sister was watching with me. He was pointing at the screen. I was like, wow, like he's pointing at Super Ninja Austin. Like that's a really good. That was a very flattering shout out and what's that reference to the Super Ninja Assassin, I guess. But this is where Seth Rollins like, this is my family. This is our home, and I will do everything in my power to protect you from people like you. Which it had to be a reference to Hangman Adam Page, like when his shoot promo from last year when he was the AEW champion at the time, and he was in a bitter feud, like a bittersweet work shoot feud with CM Punk, if you know what I mean, because I think they had some backstage issues along with assuming to be the Kenny Omega and Young Bucks as well, but that's a story for another day to talk about. But this is what Seth Rollins also added into this promo, saying like let me make one thing perfectly clear here, CM Punk. Like I don't hear any confusion. I don't worked up. I don't understand what I'm going to say, but blatantly, like every flavor in my name, I hate you dearly with all my heart. CM Punk's like, ain't it obvious? And this is where CM Punk was like, this is where Seth Rollins was like, what? We're going to be part of WWE again. Then I want you on Monday Night Raw for a good reason. So I can get everything. I could cash in all my receipts on you. He's like, what you done? Like, the truth will always come out, pal. Like, whether it comes in one end or the other, the truth is going to come. I know, everybody knows, this is your last chance. And you don't want to burn your bridge or your wrestling career. Well, he didn't say wrestling, but he pointed it, out to that way, saying, your career in this squared circle will be over. He's like, one of two things are going to happen. You're going to either expose yourself, you're going to self-destruct like what you always do, and then you're going to be the first one in the back to slam the door shut on your legacy. And this is where CM Punk's like, okay, keep going. Like, I know I expected this to hear this. This is where Seth Rollins like, for some miracle, you have changed. He's like, I gotta hand that to you. And that's the number one thing I gotta give. And you got any gas left in this old tank? I was like, this should be a Seth Rollins gimmick alone, like him hating AEW wrestlers that used to wrestle for WWE. Like, and they come back. Like, first, guess who was the first feud was when he came back from AEW? None other than the American Nightmare himself, Cody Rhodes. Now it's the similar scenario with CM Punk, but it's like a double face kind of feud. Like it's kind of like a work shoot kind of feud. Like what Seth Rollins even said in the interview, like it's not being pushed to being in this feud unless you want it to be. Like, but Seth Rollins like, I want to be in the feud with CM Punk, to take out some of the steam and anger that I have against the Chicago-made star, which he's going to be doing it out of this feud on WWE. And this is where Seth Rollins like maybe look enough to stand in the closet and what it could be, and stand across the ring for me and try to win a title that you used to be in a World Heavyweight Championship match. And he said, and then I will expose you for the fraud that you are, Punk. Sorry if I keep saying Punk, like with him referring to saying Punk like too much, because I don't want to drive you crazy of saying that, but it's not like what Seth would say, like do time to time with him taking aim at the Second City Saint. But anyways, Seth Rollins like, with this, I will circles around you, and I'll let you understand in real time what it means to be the best in the world, which what I am. And this is where CM Punk responded like, are you done yet finally? He's like, if you are, you know, that's your one pass to stand here and speak with me disrespectfully without me compassing at you. You know, I have never passed for anything to be handed to me. Like, and I always done things stubbornly the hard way. And I'm here to do that. And Adam Pearce, where you at? Like, where are you? And here's what Adam Pearce was like. He's like, we're gonna make things official right here. Like, we might as well here. Like we make this official. Like, because CM Punk is entering the Royal Rumble, declaring he's going to be the second person that's going to announce his Royal Rumble entry here, and second person that's going to enter his Royal Rumble entry. And when CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble, maybe Seth, it will be you that he's going to be picking to main event WrestleMania, and he's coming after you and your title. And he does another mic dropping promo for the second time in a row, but this time it's 3 days later, or 3 nights. Let me rephrase that later on tonight's Monday Night Raw, where Seth Rollins smiles like, "I knew I can get that old Philly Brooks out of you, Punk." Even though he don't need to do that evil ass, but he does that maniacally sneaky smile, like I know he still has that old conniving Philly Punk in him. But yeah, what are your thoughts about that, him entering the Royal Rumble? Do you think he will have a main event WrestleMania moment against Seth freaking Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship? Only time will tell, I suppose. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Which I think that's going to happen. That's going to be even better than wrestling at the Royal Rumble. And even though he didn't say Orton or LA Knight is already on the plate of Roman Reigns, and he already has his hands full, of course, I should say. But and I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave Roman Reigns alone for now and go for Raw and they see Seth Rollins, which will. It's likely we're going to see their main event WrestleMania. I'm saying now CM Punk entering the Royal Rumble. As much as I like to see Cody Rhodes winning the second time in a row, tying Stone Cold Steve Austin of winning back-to-back Royal Rumbles, this is very interesting seeing CM Punk achieving his goals, which I want to see both men achieve their goals, with Cody Rhodes finishing the story of becoming WWE champion and CM Punk main event in WrestleMania. Make everybody happy here. That's what I would do if I was Triple H, booking these kind of match, like whoever wins the Royal Rumble, whoever getting their spot in the main event, or even and perhaps you could have CM Punk main event night one's WrestleMania, and then we could have Cody Rhodes kind of main event WrestleMania, but right after whoever wins the women's Royal Rumble match, and they face either of the women's championship, whether that being Becky Lynch challenging Rhea Ripley by winning the women's Royal Rumble that way, or we could see like Jade Cargill challenge, or someone like a Jade Cargill challenging for the WWE Women's Championship against either Io Sky or even Shaw Flair or even Bianca Belair. But yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments below what your opinions on that matter. This is where we got Big Bronson Reed taking on this is where Big Bronson Reed take on Ivar of the Viking Raiders, which he took a shot at Ivar, Big Bronson Reed, saying like he's gonna put him in this Viking grave, which I'll say, what the heck is a Viking grave? Which is second goofy wrestling of the night, like next to R-Truth being his usual hilarious self. Like whenever time he has some have a spot on Raw, whether if he's on a promo segment or a backstage segment or even in a wrestling match, he's gonna bring the comedic side of himself and bring and successfully successfully put a smile on your face, whether if you're laughing or not. But I was like, what is the Viking grave? Like, is that like some kind of like where you put the Vikings in their grave and underwater, and then you put a Viking boat as a tombstone on top of it? I suppose so. But yeah, let's talk about that match, which was the match up next, which was Big Bronson Reed taking on the Viking Raider member. This is where Ivar and him going back and forth, like him punches back and forth on one another, and even slapping man meat, which I hope they don't get into the envy list, because one, I believe Gunter dominated both of these men, or at least Big Bronson Reed, and soon to be Ivar, because he's not gonna worry about it. He's just gonna put him on a tab list, I should say, rather than an envy list. But this is where Ivar tried to run and charge right into the right hand corner side onto the ropes. This is where he tried to go for a crossbody, like a big body crossbody, like, which is the ultimate comeback move. But this is where he hits a running splash, a belly splash right onto him, which looks more ultimate in comeback like than a crossbody. This is where he Irish whips Ivar right into the upper left-hand corner of the turnbuckle. This is where he's hitting a knife edge chop, which I believe Gunter's gonna add him to a tab line, a tab list of being murked by him once again for the second time. But this is where Ivar. This is where Bronson Reed Irish whips Ivar up into the lower right-hand corner, right on the turnbuckle, hitting him with him going for a front flip. This is where to start hitting fist to fist on one another, like as soon as Ivar got back up, until Big Bronson Reed picks him up into a fireman's carry. I was like, please hit my signature move. Please hit my signature move. But which is the most dominating move in all of sports entertainment / pro wrestling, is the Death Valley Driver, which I like to call it the Sass Valley Driver. This is where Ivar started hitting the elbow strikes right into the head when he tried to attempt to go for the maneuver. This is where he flips him over right from behind. This is where Ivar Irish whipped him right from the towards the left-hand corner ropes. Try to go for a clothesline. Big Bronson Reed ducks out of the way, runs right through the right-hand corner ropes. This is where Ivar comes from the left. This is where they hit a double clothesline right on each other, right in the middle of the canvas, which Ivar rolled out of the left-hand corner of the ringside area. This is where he was kneeling down right onto the corner side ring. This is where Big Bronson Reed was like, "You want a piece of me? Like, I still have left in the tank." This is what Ivar was like, I know that you want a piece of me, and I got plenty left in my tank. And he's like, "Let's ride!" And Bronson Reed, like, "Let's do this." Which big man were still beating man meat on one another. When they run right to each other, they hit a double crossbody, which is an ultimate earthquaking comeback move for, in their case, of all the sports entertainment slash pro wrestling. The crossbody right onto each other, landed right onto each other's bellies, like landing right onto their back, onto the bottom corner of the ringside area. This is where they managed to get back in the ring somehow. I don't know how. After taking such a huge bump like that, like I was like, man, that's extremely dangerously painful. Like just by watching it. This is where they start hitting right hands once again. This is where Bronson Reed dodges the second attempt from Ivar, hits a super kick right into the face of Ivar in the process. This is where Big Bronson Reed runs right onto Ivar, but he gets hit with a double A spine buster right on by Ivar, but Ivar tried to go for a pinfall afterwards, like a sit out double A spine buster. I would say a spinning sit out spine buster. Let me rephrase that. This is where he goes for a pin. This is where the referee counted one, counted two, but Big Bronson Reed kicks out at the last second. This is where Ivar tried to go for a splash, but this is where Big Bronson Reed moves out of the way, and this is where Ivar hits face first right into the turnbuckle, I think. And this is where he landed right into the middle of the ring after taking such a bump. This is where Big Bronson Reed goes right on the top rope. This is where he tried to go for this finishing move, the tsunami. This is where Ivar hits a right hand to stop Big Bronson Reed, hits a right hand right to his face. This is where he hits a big lariat right onto Big Bronson Reed, which he landed out into the left corner ringside area, which he flipped right over the hardest part of the ring, the left side apron, which both sides, of course, are the hardest part of the ring. And then this is where Ivar goes right onto the top rope afterwards. This is where he get ready to hit another big diving maneuver, except this time it was a cannonball right off the top rope, right on the Big Bronson Reed, which Valhalla was like, yes! Like, you got him right where you wanted him. I was like, hopefully you'd see him as a brother rather than a lover, because a reminder, you're married to the other Viking Raider, which is Eric, which you decided bald rather than big and hairy like you. This is where a big... Yeah, yes. He changed you? What? What are you talking about? We told you to go to the bathroom when you need to when you need to go. But anyway, this is where Big Bronson Reed hits a headbutt right onto Ivar when he tried to go off the top rope after bringing Bronson Reed back in the ring. This is where Big Bronson Reed try to do some kind of try to go for an unusual maneuver. It looked like he was about to go for a top rope Frankensteiner, which I would never believe it even if I seen it. But this is where Ivar prevented it for any of that happening because he pushed him right on the top rope. This is where he tried to push him right on the top rope. This is where Big Bronson Reed tried to go for a suplex right onto. This is where he tried to go for a suplex right on the top rope, which he did so right in the middle of the canvas. This is where he goes right into the. This is where he tried to go for a pin, putting his arm around the waist of Ivar for a pin covered. This is where he got the 1, 2, 3, which this is very rare for an individual to. This is very rare for an individual to get a win from an avalanche suplex. Well, this is I'd say a good reason why he got the win because he put like a double, triple extra force into his maneuver so hard to the point that it KO'd Ivar. which because everything you do something off the top rope, including the tsunami, is gonna get him a guaranteed victory. But what do you thought about this match? And do you think it's gonna continue, or do you think that they're gonna move on and we'll go off their separate ways into two different feuds with one another? Leave a comment below of what you think. But let's move on to the next one, which is
the same exact way too.
This is where we got the Judgment Day sending a message to the Creed brothers because for some reason, like they had to postpone it for some reason they had to postpone it for next week's Raw on December 18th rather than having tonight on December 11th. But he's like, we're the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champion, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and you Creed brothers are going to dethrone us. So despite having a winning undefeated streak right here on Monday Night Raw, so Cleveland fans, the Judgment Day is on your town. Step up, and you get if you step up, you're gonna get put down. Damian Priest we have a simple message for every WWE superstar that's in the locker room, and it doesn't matter. Whether if you were dealt with the Judgment Day or not, the Judgment Day, or even if you're a returning superstar, which is a nod to both Randy Orton and CM Punk, because we haven't seen CM Punk in a year and a half, and we haven't seen Randy Orton in a year and a half, and CM Punk for nearly a decade. And this was it also doesn't matter that you're a new superstar like the Creed brothers, and y'all all officially put on notice by the Judgment Day. And this is where Dominic Mysterio, before he had a chance to fully say anything about the Creed brothers, saying the Creed brother, and this is where the fans started immediately starting to boo him, boo, boo. This is where they start booing loud as they can because nobody do not like this man, because he really does a really good job playing the evil and the most sinister and most conniving heel that any young arrogant wrestler that had this gimmick before can ever pull off. Even he's very over as a heel. The fans do not like him, let alone wanting to hear what he's saying, to the point that they don't care what he says as much more than Jey Uso don't care what his cousin Roman Reigns, aka the Tribal Chief, have to come what comes in his mouth and what he has to say. So this is where R-Truth came out. He's like, "Hey, Judgment Day, y'all having a Christmas party and y'all didn't even send me an invitation. First it was in the back and now the front now. You guys." And he's like, "How you gonna have?" Good. And he's like, "How you gonna have a holiday party without having the invitation?" And then this is where JD McDonough was like, "Truth, this is not some kind of holiday party we're having here. We're just making a statement. It's not a party not walking into. And even if it was, you still wouldn't be invited. We would still wouldn't be invited either way." And then this is where Damian Priest was like JD, take it easy, your dog, relax. He's like, "Now, Truth," he was like, "Come in the ring, I got a surprise for you." And this is where R-Truth did a kick of joy, if he was a leprechaun. I guess the term, but like Medea would say, black leprechaun. But anyways, this is where R-Truth was like, "Oh boy, y'all really did invite me. I didn't know this was the surprise." And this is where R-Truth was he's like, "I have the few," and also before you reveal the surprise for me, I have a couple of ideas to give for for you guys, now you add me as a new member of the Judgment Day, and and I and I always want to help fellas out here. I want to help a few fellas out. Like, this was like, okay, like this is where it's like, okay, like right after like the Judgment Day, we're discussing things. If they want to hear any ideas that our truth had pitched for the group, and he was like, let's see here, like first off, like we gotta kick JD out. And then every fan in the arena was dying with laughter because this was very hilarious. Like, I would say Damian Priest must be secretly agreeing with R-Truth in that statement where he was like, honestly, to be honest, like, we gotta kick JD McDonough out of the group. This is where JD McDonough took offense to that. This is where he nearly attacked R-Truth, but Dominic Mysterio had to hold him back. Like, he was like, what did he say? Like, what do you mean? What's that supposed to mean? Like I know even if you don't like me, like that doesn't mean you have to disrespect me by saying you got to kick me out of the team. Like when I'm actually the lifesaver of the group. And then this is where R-Truth was like, and second of all, like DP, like what happened? Like, you got to stop calling yourself the boss. I'm like, what's that reference leading up to? And then this is where Damian Priest like, who said I was the boss? And he's like, I think you're a perfect boss. Like, imagine being the boss. Like it makes mommy mad. Like, he's like, mommy is upset. Like, mommy's getting confused. Like, we all getting confused here right now by would you call yourself that nickname? And this is where Damian Priest is like, truth. I don't. Like, you're really a funny guy. Like, I understand people. I understand why everybody likes you. Like a lot of people in the locker room likes you. I was like, maybe that's an uncharacteristic moment, like with him saying that line, because that's absolutely true. I mean, even if it was on the script, that's very true. Whether if it's kayfabe in reality, like he really is a funny, humongous funny guy. Like even everybody on YouTube, including Slap Rock and the Great One, even said that he's a very funny guy, like naturally, like especially when you let him be him in this with his persona. And this is where Damian Priest was like I bet, and he's like, hey, everybody around this building likes to be, and I even. And even Finn Balor likes you right after Finn Balor's like, I like you, dog. Like, and he's like, I bet, everybody in the building likes you, even people at home. And this is where this is where R-Truth was like, "What's up?" And then this is where Finn Balor did it along saying, "What's up?" back, like, and the fans did the usual chant, "What's up?" back at R-Truth. And this is where Damian Priest was like, everybody loves R-Truth here. Like let's make some noise here, like except for me. And this is where and this is where as soon as R-Truth turned around after he said that, he hits a striking clothesline, the same one that looks similar to when he turned on Edge when the Judgment Day started. Like when he was like when he made it clear like he's no longer in the group, and he's like. We all like understand like our path and our struggles in this ring, like, and we're trying to make a change of that, like except for you. And this is where he closed on. That's what it looks like to when Adam Copeland was kicked out of his own group, like with him and Rhea Ripley was the original members. This is where they four-way team brutally beat down the energetic R-Truth. This is where the Creed brothers came out there for the aid of the former 24/7 champion. This is where they helped beat down the Judgment Day, even though it was on 2-on-4, like when they were beating them down, but they still made it work by beating the absolute sense into them and the sugar honey iced tea out of them. And then this is where they start. But this is where Julius Creed was getting double teamed by JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio, but not for long. But this is where Damian Priest and Finn Balor, I believe, got Brutus Creed. This is where they started. But because but not for long, like they were double teamed because as soon as JD Madonna and Dominic Mysterio try to Irish whip him right onto the lower left hand stem of the steel steps, this is where he counters, twisting them back, hits a double belly to belly suplex by twisting their arms forward, and this is where he got back in the ring. This is where he helps out fight off Damian Priest. As soon Brutus Creed help. As soon as Brutus Creed got Finn Balor out of the ring. And this is where they got Damian Priest soon after out of the ring by hitting a double spine buster, I believe. And then that's what it sent him packing, which I believe this could be a sign that the Judgment Day could retain, but it won't be an easy task of trying to retain the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. And what's your hot take onto this matter? Who's going to win and walk out and be as the undisputed tag team championship? Do you think the Judgment Day is going to retain, or do you think the Creed brothers are going to become the new championship? Which I'm going to let y'all to decide in the comments down below. I'll say for now, the Judgment Day are going to retain, but it's going to be a hard dogfight match, like to say the least, of describing how the match is going to be. It's going to be a back and forth contest, which is not going to be easy for either man, but somehow, whether if they do it, even if they do a cheap shot or not, I think they're gonna retain. Until whether if they get a rematch or another tag team that's really good that has tag team potential, in their future run in the WWE, dethrones them. What if it's them DIY, or I would say even in the sheer, but that's only if they get that opportunity. But yeah. But for now, I would say the Judgment Day is going to retain until they have any plans for splitting up Damian Priest away from them and kicking him out of the group, which I believe that'll be the beginning in January of 2024. But yeah, y'all give me y'all's predictions about that in the comments down below. This is where we move on with CM Punk and Adam Pearce discussing things about his future in the Monday Night Raw brand until Kofi Kingston run into both Pearce and Punk. So this is where CM Punk. This is where Kofi Kingston's like, "How's it going, man? Long time no see." And this is where CM Punk's like, "Yo, how's it going, Kofi?" He's like, Jamaican, you're Jamaican me crazy with making a Jamaican joke, but even though Kofi Kingston was Jamaican back in the day, which I'm not gonna get into that, but we're gonna talk about it was Chad Gable, Ricochet. They were happy to see CM Punk. This is where CM Punk was like, I heard so much about you two, Chad Gable and Ricochet. I'm glad, it's a pleasure to meet you guys. And then. And he's like, I heard y'all awfully, and he's also heard you're awfully enthusiastic in video games, Rico. And then this is where he's like, and this is where Kofi Kingston was like, I'm glad to see you here, CM Punk. And then this is where Adam Pearce was like, and he's like, and then this is where Adam Pearce is like, if y'all have any ideas of what has involved the Intercontinental Championship, what I can do for you guys. And then this is where he's like, and if there's anything that I can do for you, it's inside this room. This is where they start trying to play first, both Chad Gable and Ricochet. This is where Kofi Kingston's like, okay, after you. This is where Adam Pearce was like, okay, and then this is where Michael Cole's like, Adam Pearce needs an assistant with all this work going on. Everything what's going on on the Raw brand lately. But I would say, if they're going to do some kind of a triple threat number one contenders match next week, I could assume, if not, if they're not going to have no Christmas edition of SmackDown being pre-taped, rather just the best of Raw of 2023, I would say Chad Gable could be the one that could dethrone Gunther on the New Year's edition of Monday Night Raw, which I'm going to be making a review, which will possibly be my 20th review of Monday Night Raw. Make sure y'all check that out in the future because I'm gonna skip Christmas because one, they're gonna pre-tape Raw, and two, pre-tape Raw, and there's gonna be some uh, kind of spoilers out there. So I'm not sure if there'll be any points of reviewing of having a review show like of Monday Night Raw until the week after on New Year's. But yeah. But yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments below on what's your prediction about if Chad Gable being the one, or it could be Ricochet, the same guy that Gunther beat to become his future historical victory is WWE IC champion, or it could be Kofi Kingston, a guy that's been experienced with multiple title reigns with the IC title from over a decade ago. Even though it's been since then, like since the last time he held championship gold, like of that nature of the Intercontinental Championship. But I wouldn't rule out that he would be the number one contender. But my prediction is on Chad Gable. And they're planting the seeds to see if Chad Gable is going to be that potential guy. Like with the other some of the fellow YouTubers say, like on YouTube, saying like Chad Gable should be the one that should dethrone Gunther for his IC championship, which I agree. I've been saying ever since I made my first ever Raw review, like when he had his first opportunity against the Ring General. But anyways, we're gonna talk about the tag team match between the Kayden Carter and Katana Chance against the Ways of Candice LeRae and her on-screen daughter Indy Hartwell. But let's talk about that match now, and then I'll say this was a really interesting match, even though it's not the best match tonight, but still was a pretty good and decent match, like just to have in the women's tag division. I think this was the number one contenders match because they said next week, like it will be, the undisputed tag team championships and the women's tag team will be on the line. But yeah, this is where Indy Hartwell was fighting, I believe, Kayden Carter. This is where she Irish whipped her right into the corner, right into the bottom corner ropes. This is where she started. This is where I believe she hit her with an arm drag. This is where she started mocking her by doing that dance she did, that partying dance. This is where she was shaking her backside, saying like, "You can go kiss it." But this is where Indy Hartwell's like, "No," and this is where she goes and attacks Kayden Carter. This is where she dodges out of the way. This is where she, I believe, hits her with a swinging arm drag until Indy Hartwell had her right on her feet. This is where she hit a couple of axe handles right into the head of Kayden Carter until she tagged in. This is where he tags in. This is where Indy Hartwell tags in Candice LeRae. This is where she does a flapjack right on top of Kayden Carter, but Kayden Carter had the knees up, which she kind of messed up there. This is where Indy Hartwell tried to make magic home hands, trying to go for a German suplex. But this is where Kayden Carter hits a wheelbarrow flip snapmare into a super kick right into the face of Indy Hartwell. Like she was back in her game. Like this is where she was absolutely hyped up. This is where she tags in Katana Chance, easily grab on the Candice LeRae into a neck break, which Katana Chance hits the 450 splash, and that's where they got the win. And that's where they got the win with the 1-2-3 after hitting the after party right onto Candice LeRae. And I believe the number one contenders, which I think they're likely are, because they have an opportunity for the women's tag team champions against Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, which they were in ringside with Michael Cole and Wade Barrett in commentary. Usually what the champions or the number one contenders usually be when the number one contenders or the champion is fighting in their match against another opponent. But yeah, who do you think's gonna win? What's your prediction? Who think are we gonna have new women's tag team champion of Katana Chance and Kayden Carter, or Chelsea Green or Piper Niven? But Chelsea Green was like, no, like you face like no, like y'all not championships, y'all not quite there. Like you're gonna have to go through us in order to get our babies. And this is where they're like, that's exactly what we're gonna be doing in 7 nights from now. And this is where it's like your championship will forever be Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, which I don't know if it's gonna be forever. Will be even if you retain, like you're not forever. Like I'm not sure if you're gonna keep on to that promise. This is where we got a backstage segment with DIY, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, with Johnny Gargano having a custom-made NFL WWE Championship belt of the Cleveland Browns because they were in his hometown of Cleveland. And I heard from Slat Rock that he was at the Cleveland Browns game when they were playing against Tony Khan's father's team that he owns now, which is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, he owned them for the past 12 years since 2011, But anyways, yeah, like he was there, and then he was holding on to that very belt. This is where Johnny Gargano's like, we got a huge win yesterday, and he smashed cars. We smashed cars with a hammer, like Monday Night Raw in my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. Like, and Tommaso Ciampa was like, yo, I love the enthusiasm and for real, like. And he's like, but can we trust this guy? Like, and I was like, who are they talking about? Like, and at first I was thinking about, like, what are they talking to? Of Dexter Loomis? Like, and this was like he's in the right place in the right time, right place. Like, I should have known what he was referring to, like, considering he's from originally from the exact city as Johnny Gargano is. But this is where they got instantly interrupted by the Imperium members, which is Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci, like saying, it's so very interesting that you're looking for a third member. Like, you know, like all day, like I've been hearing about like the mystery partner of yours. Like, well, it made me wonder, like, who could possibly team up with the two of you. He's like, two of you, like who? Tell me, who is your mystery partner? Look like he's typing in on the computer. And this is where Tommaso Ciampa was like, it's like, why are you worrying about our mystery partner? He's like, instead of worrying about our mystery partner, like what y'all should be worrying about if what the General Gunther's gonna think when y'all lose on tonight's six-man battle between against us and our mystery guy. Like, when you disappoint them again. Like, and this is where Ludwig Kaiser was like, and he was like, I'm not going to disappoint him. I guarantee that's a fact that I'm going to make him very proud. This is where Johnny Gargano's like, reminder, that's twice. And this is where Giovanni Vinci was like, well, you shut up. And then this is where they start arguing back and forth. Gunther came in the room. This is where he's like, he was like here holding on to his jacket. He was like, very, very confident tonight. Good luck. Like, I highly doubt you'll find somebody that would associate with guys like you. That these like two weirdos like you. That's what he said. Like would possibly team with guys like the two weirdos that you two are. And he was like, all right, get ready to get in the ring. This is where we find out what this mystery partner is, which I thought for a second, I thought of two guys. I was like, first, it could be Dexter Loomis because he's teaming with, because he's part of the way with Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. But I was like, nah, like, who else could I like? It could be Von Wagner because he said he's supposed to be in the. You missed? Be careful, Trey, man. But anyways, this is where yeah. Yay! But anyway, this is where Johnny. I was thinking like maybe it could be Von Wagner because they did say that he's gonna be backstage on tonight's Raw in Cleveland, Ohio, at the what's that called? But yeah, I forget something field. Trey, you be careful with that. But anyways, this is where But yeah, anyway, this is where we figure out who's the third member of Team DIY against Imperium. And I thought it would be Von Wagner because he had to do and also a main event. He had to do main event tapings with after Raw, like the the main event show after Raw, of course. But let's talk about who was their mystery opponent. It was none other than the other Cleveland native himself, the A-lister, the man that proclaims himself to be awesome, The Miz. Which obviously he would be best pick for one. He's originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and two, he's a baby face. So he's gonna claim that he's from Cleveland. Something that baby faces would do. They claim that they're from their respective hometown, and they'll have a standing ovation, I should say. Yeah, outstanding ovation because of it, of course. Yeah. But before we do have that match, this is where we got Becky Lynch in her in-ring segment, which like an in-ring segment, in-ring promo segment, I should say. And she was basically talking about Nia Jax, like about what Nia Jax did in the past 5 years ago. But the thing is, we never had a match one-on-one in this very ring, and in the last 5 years we've been linked together for this reason. Like showed the replay, which it showed Team Raw and Team SmackDown fighting one another, which we had Becky Lynch on Team SmackDown side fighting Team Nia Jax, which she was on Team Raw side. We even saw a cameo of Naomi into this replay, but it was mostly dedicating to into this feud right now. Like and Nia Jax was the reason why she became the man in the first place. Like by accidentally stiffly hitting her so hard to the point that she made her nose break and make her entire face bleed because of it. And this is where it's like, I'm not sure if you call this a fern against me, and then and he's like of the problem. But the last 5 years, not even I've been dissing and keep missing and dissing each other like since then, and I even main event WrestleMania, and then. And she went on to get double ACL surgery on that time, like because Nia is a woman so unlikable, like even her own knees wouldn't stand for her. But she took a dig at her, like she's the most hated woman in all of professional wrestling. Even the great one cannot stand her, but he tolerates her for him, considering that he's a wrestling fan and he does wrestling reviews and wrestling news review for a living and on the YouTube world side of things. But this is where Becky Lynch went on to also say, and I had the child. Like when I had the child, she got fired like nearly a year later, and then, it's 2023. I'm here. She's here. And I think we should. And this before she had a chance to finish her sentence. This is where Nia Jax came out and confirmed things with her response saying it's great to see you be here right in front of you, and then I'm here better than ever. I was like, yeah, that's true. And like when it comes to you and you alone. Like you are getting better and better because you're not being known as injuring people legitimately, rather than in storyline wise. Like you beating your victims from the likes of Raquel Rodriguez, Zoe Stark, and Shayna Baszler. Even though she should be putting them over rather than burying them. But that's the whole point of her whole point of her gimmick. Like she's the most threatening and the most dominating and powerful woman in WWE. Like into the middle card and the women's middle card Raw roster, and this the build up to Becky Lynch proving her wrong by facing her into this somewhat of a dream match. Something that we won, something that should have happened from a few years ago, of course. That's when she was waving her hair like, yeah, like I am so great and I'm better. And he's like, that punch you just showed, like that was just a lucky swing. A lucky swing that almost ended your career. Like I didn't even put too much of a force. A lucky swing that I didn't even get that much of it. And I'll tell you what, like imagine, Becky, if I had you right in front of me and I aimed to punch you with my full force, like that's deadly. Like you wouldn't even got back up. I was like, and the fans are chanting what? Like if she was her cousin's arch rival that loves drinking beer, or arch frenemy, I should say, his arch frenemy, because now they're friends, but they used to been like in-ring rivals, like when it came to the Attitude Era. But this is where I was like, dang, like this must be some kind of a crime encounter for saying this, like second crime encounter of the night, like next to Big Bronson Reed. Like, what is up with these Pacific Islanders mixed with Australians are threatening death onto their arch rivals, like respectively, of course. I was like, I just don't get it. Like, with all due respect for Big Bronson Reed and Nia Jax. This is where Becky Lynch was like, "Oh, you're also upset because I broke Becky's face. Like I haven't, but Becky, this is a context for her, right?" And the fans are like, "What?" And he's like, "What else do you expect?" Fans will continue to say, "What?" This is where Becky Lynch was like, "No, I don't expect anything less, and I don't hold any grudges or any anger against you, Nia, because everybody knows that you're the most dangerous woman in this ring." Like anybody that you step in this ring to get you has been injured or hospitalized, like a broken bone. Hell, like you ended a few careers, like if like when you were not careful. Which I'm not sure about career-ending injuries, but it nearly happened when she was when she wasn't that when if she wasn't that careful, like or even careful whatsoever, like. But anyway, I should say this is where she started smiling because the reputations are true because she legitimately injured so many wrestlers, whether it was Alexa Bliss, Zelina Vega, Shaw Flair, Bayley, even Kyrie Sane too, yeah, in the top 5 list. This is when Nia Jax like that's why people like you does people stop talking about me like for the last 2 years that I've been gone, like which sounds like the Great One, but the Great One haven't talked to her talked anything about her since she has been released from 2021. But yeah, she continued like with fans are continue to say what, and she was like, "It ain't it very ironic that the 2 careers that I nearly ended was you have me to thank yours, like from one of those careers I nearly ended." Which that's true because if she hadn't got hit in the face, she wouldn't have became the man. And if she hadn't became the man, perhaps she wouldn't have been. She would have won the main event that year's WrestleMania. Who knows what it been like? You got to give Nia Jax some credit out of that, but at the same time, like I think, like despite all that, like it's still she shouldn't be like if she's not careful, she shouldn't be potato heading anybody. But luckily she improved like since she's been in WWE. Even though she's been getting all the wins, but that's the point. Like she's supposed to be dominant until somebody that's like the David of her Goliath like manhandle her and give her first loss in a while, like and ever since her return to the WWE. But yeah, this is where
Hey, why can't you do that?
This is what Becky Lynch was like. But however, this the only one thing I have against you, Nia, is the narrative that I need to change, because if it was about a broken face, I bet these people would check out and move on to see the blood dry. Like if it was just about a broken face, but despite all that, like it's about that night represented. It's about that man represented. It's about a knockdown, like when you think you can get away with it, like circumstances. It's about dusting yourself back up, getting back up, and fighting like hell. And then Nia Jax started giggling and laughing. She's like, "Oh, you are so cute, like Becky Lynch." And you say that I'm a main event star because of you, like, but that is the whole. That's a complete lie. Like that is, like that is a, like that lie just came out of. It came out of nowhere, like out of your mouth, like just to get some attention for your benefit. But I was like, that's kind of true. I was like, even for not like, even if she didn't become Becky Two Belts, I'll say she still would have been a main eventer. But I'm not sure what if that would have happened, even if she didn't break her nose, like in a blessing in disguise that turned out of it. But I would say that was entirely her doings of making her a main eventer that she is today, though, because whether she's the Irish last kicker, big time Bex, the man, like she's a success story in professional wrestling, and she was like, that. This is why I need to end you and your reign of terror of hurting, like hurting the colleagues back there. And this is where Nia Jax like, oh Becky, like you. Like and she was like, oh, like you're saying, like, oh, I hear you, like, and I hear the sad reality of your story that you need me. And then this is where Becky Lynch was like, oh, do I? And this is where she started shaking her head, like, and this is where Nia Jax like, you just need to prove everybody around here that you're just not about like a one moment. And he's like, and more importantly, you need to prove to yourself like that your career wasn't just some accident after I broke your face. Fans were repeatedly saying what because they did not like what she's saying because she is the villainous heel into the storyline against the big time Bex. And this is what she's like, you always, and he's like, I always will be the woman that made the man. I'm like, ew, that sounds like a very uncomfortable statement and term to use for what Nia Jax just said about the woman that made the man. Like that's a very uncomfortably unbearable line that Nia Jax came up with. Just to be honest, on my honest opinion, like I'm not criticizing it. It's just my opinion about the matter. Like I'm not complaining about it. It's just that it's just a curious, hilarious moment. That's what I'm thinking about right now. But anyways, like in the curious, like why would she say something like that? But this is where Becky Lynch was like, I tell you what I need right now. I need you to shut the hell up for one. And then she was like, I just came around to Cleveland to talk. I came here to look for a fight, Nia. And that's why I want from you. Like, this is where she dropped the mic. This is where Nia Jax looked like she would give exactly that. This is where Becky Lynch tied up her hair into a bond. This is where she's like, all right, like if you want to finish the job and break my face, like try to do so. Like try to do so. And then this is where Nia Jax was smiling and chuckling and laughing, and she was like, and she was grinning afterwards, and she was like, she's too easy. Like punching would be too easy, and I wouldn't be proving my point. I'll do it on my terms, and when we have this official, which I'll say that's kind of a hypocritical and an excuse of being hypocritical because like if you want to finish the job, and this is where Nia Jax was like, you need this more than I do, so I'm just gonna leave you right here being miserable, continuing to be miserable. And this is where she dropped the microphone. She walked out and she's like, bye bye. But I believe Becky Lynch won the promo battle because she proved her statement by saying, like, I'm gonna stand up to you anytime, and I'm gonna prove you wrong that I don't need you to become a main event success. And then And yeah, it looks like we're going to see a big match, which my prediction, if not next week, I would say perhaps the New Year's edition of Monday Night Raw. Which yeah, it's kind of unfortunate we didn't see a Becky Lynch versus versus Nia Jax match like an actual match during a promising feud that possibly was going to be the case. This is where This is where we do have, the Miz and DIY against Imperium, which started for Tommaso Ciampa and Gunter, with Tommaso Ciampa hitting forearms back and forth right on, like forearms right onto Gunter. This is where he grabs onto his arm. This is where he hits the knee right into the midsection. This is where This is where the knee strike right to the face. This is where he tags in Giovanni Vinci. This is where This is where the Miz was proposing like, ugh, and he tried to go for his running clothesline, but this is where Gunther tried to go for a clothesline, but the Miz got his boot up right into his face. This is where Gunther catches it. He hits a striking forearm, a four of like a full like what's that, like a full extreme knife piercing chop that could pierce his chest right in half, like if he wanted to, of course. I guess that's sending a message to the AEW roster of not using his chops, or they're gonna be ending up worse than the Miz, like what he just did to the Miz. Like, so my best recommendation, AEW wrestlers on the roster, don't provoke the ring general. Even though I'm not the biggest Gunther fan, at least not at this time, but I'll say my best, because he could really get hit a thunderous chop, whether if it's a full piercing knife, a full knife piercing chop, or a half knife edge chop, like with the traditional dudes we do. This is where he tried to go for a Boston Crab, which last time I checked, he was not from Boston. He's from Austria, which I'd say I know people that's from both. Like, that's outside of the ring, of course. This is where Tommaso Ciampa hits a bicycle knee strike right into the head of Gunther. This is where he rolls out of the ring. This is where Tommaso Ciampa grabs onto the ropes, right onto the bottom side. This is where Giovanni Vinci came from the left corner side. This is where Ludwig Kaiser came from the right hand side. This is where he hits a discus clothesline, while Giovanni Vinci hits a striking chop block, shin breaking trip right onto Tommaso Ciampa, where they're like, Imperium. This is where Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, no, it was Johnny Gargano and the Miz, two of the two double Cleveland natives, came and ducked from the clotheslines from Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser, run from the bottom side rope, hit a flying head scissors and DDT at the same damn time. This is where Gunther hit the big boot right onto Johnny Gargano. This is where the Miz was face to face with Gunther. Gunther tried to go for a big boot onto the Miz. This is where he grabs it, hits a dragon screw slam, do the and then do the figure four leg lock right onto the ring general, which that's been his second finishing maneuver, like ever since 2013, like for a good 10 years. This is where he had it locked in right on the Gunther. He nearly tapped. Like, he nearly tapped, but he was like, no, I will never tap. This is where he tried to reach up for the Miz, but there was no use, because he had it locked in onto the ring general. This is where Ludwig Kaiser tried to go for the save, but I think he failed him, which later on we see him going the hell off onto Ludwig Kaiser. But anyway, this is where Johnny Gargano hits a flying head scissors and face buster right onto Ludwig Kaiser. This is where he hit that crossfade. This is where Ludwig Kaiser This is where Luther kind of like, no, I'm not going to tap, even though I'm not the legal man. This is where Gunther tried to grab onto the ropes, but he started crawling and reaching for his other teammate, Giovanni Vinci. He tagged him in. This is where he hits the springboard elbow drop. I believe it's a signature maneuver right onto the Miz. Hits a big boot right to the face of Johnny Gargano. This is where he picks him up, trying to go for the spinny Vinci cell power bomb. This is where the Miz rolled out of it. This is where Giovanni Vinci tried to go for a closeout, ducks, goes from behind, hits the skull crushing finale right on the Giovanni Vinci, which he also failed Gunther, which he's gonna be hearing it from the Green General. And because after he hits this finish, the Miz hits his finishing move, he got the 1-2-3 onto him, which I think this was really good, like because the Miz and DIY both been lacking wins lately, so this was perfect, like all the way for both men, and especially for Johnny Gargano and Johnny Gargano and the Miz as Johnny Gargano and the Miz being in their home city of Cleveland, of course. This is where they raised their hands because they just won the match, like which that's what usually what the winning team would do, like especially when they're on the same page. And what y'all thought about this match? Whether you're a cup of tea or not, let me know in the comments down below. And also, yeah, the Miz also teamed with Tommaso Ciampa, with Tommaso Ciampa being his henchman or assistant or lackey or whatever you want to call him. But they're both baby faces now, so they team just for the fact that that and also for him being from Cleveland, which they were at tonight, and same with Johnny Gargano. But let's move on to the main event of the evening, which is the American Nightmare. Cody Rhodes taking on the King of Strong Style and the artist of known as Shinsuke Nakamura. Which we saw some pretty hard-hitting moves from both the American Nightmare and Shinsuke, but start off with Shinsuke. But with Shinsuke Nakamura had him in the snapmare, like right after Cody Rhodes hit him with a right hand right into the midsection. This is where he knees him right into his midsection and did a snapmare. Just where Shinsuke Nakamura flips him over, put the knees right to the face of Cody. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but Cody Rhodes kicked out instantly at 1 even. This is where Shinsuke Nakamura picks up Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes hits a right hand right into the midsection. Then a right hand again right onto Shinsuke Nakamura. Just where he runs from the bottom corner ropes. This is where he runs to try to go for a striking clothesline, I believe, but he gets hit with a running instigiri kick by Shinsuke Nakamura right into his ribs. This is where Shinsuke Nakamura picks up the American Nightmare, hit him in the headlock. That's where Cody was like, "I'll never surrender." No, he's already back. That I did so, like when I got Kimura locked by Brock Lesnar like 7 months ago at Night of Champions. But this is where Shinsuke Nakamura hit the knee right into Cody Rhodes' midsection. This is where he tried to go for a signature back suplex. Cody Rhodes flips out of it, like and staying right on his feet, even though he nearly stumbled and failed. But this is where he kicked Shinsuke right in the midsection, hit a right hand uppercut right onto Nakamura. This is where Cody Rhodes tried to go for the Cody Cutter, which Shinsuke Nakamura caught onto his arm that he was planning on planting to do the Cody Cutter and grab and go for the arm bar right in the middle of the ring. This is where he got locked in. This is where he tried to pin it back. This is where Cody Rhodes was trying to get his best to flip out of it, which he did at first, but he got onto a hold on his left arm, locked it in. But this is where I believe Cody Rhodes put his legs right under the ropes, right onto the ropes and left. I'll say the left leg onto the on the top part of the bottom ropes and the bottom leg under the ropes onto the left corner of the bottom ropes. This is where he tried to go for the Kinshasa. This is where Cody Rhodes intercept and hit a missile dropkick right onto the left leg of Shinsuke Nakamura, make him do a somersault onto the left through the left knee. This is where Cody Rhodes. This is where Shinsuke Nakamura was rolled right onto the right hand corner apron. This is where he tied it. This is where Cody Rhodes. Excuse me. This is where Cody Rhodes had Shinsuke Nakamura's left leg draped and wedged right onto inner out of the right hand corner of the apron. Hit a dragon screw in the process. This is where he starts shredding those legs. This is where he grabbed onto the hand. This is where he tried to go for a suplex right onto Shinsuke Nakamura. And this is where Nakamura flipped. This is where Nakamura flipped out of it. This is where I nearly flipped out of it, but this is where he hits a face buster right onto the King of Strong style. This is where Cody Rhodes is like, my, ow. Like, what the hell? And this is where, this is very painful, but it was all worth it. This is where Cody Rhodes tried to go for a single leg Boston Crab onto Shinsuke Nakamura. This is where Nakamura was like, oh my, I know. Like, you're not even from Boston. Why are you doing this? I was like, even though I make this catchphrase, but like you don't have to be from Boston to do the Boston Crab. Like, there's even wrestlers, I know like 3 or 4, if not 5 different wrestlers that's from Boston that don't do the Boston Crab. They have taken the Boston Crab maneuver like plenty of times, but all I'm gonna say is they from Boston, but also I'll say there's wrestlers that aren't from Boston, plenty of those that do the Boston Crab though. So it's just a part of a move that's been probably originated from somebody from Boston or somebody inspired from there to do a maneuver like that. I don't know, like. But either way, Shinsuke Nakamura eventually grabbed onto the ropes. Cody Rhodes had to let go. This is where he rolled out of the bottom corner ropes. This is where Cody Rhodes had to get him back from the outside. Here's where they start hitting strikes on each other with Cody Rhodes going right hand on Shinsuke. Shinsuke went back with a right hand of his own. This is where they start hitting. And this may not be the most legendary match, but I think it's just the start of a feud that's probably going to end in New Year's, which will be January 1st, 2024, obviously, which will be the New Year's edition of Monday Night Raw. This is where every time they start hitting strikes on each other respectively, with Cody Rhodes hit right hand first, fans are chanting yes, yay, and then when Nakamura hits right back, they booed. And we're going back and forth, like fans are like yay, boo, yay, like right back and forth. That's it, man. When Nakamura hits a striking forearm right to the face, this is where he tried to go for, I believe, a charging maneuver onto the American Nightmare. This is where Cody Rhodes countered him and hits a outsmarted striking forearm right to the face of Nakamura. I thought he was going to go for an outsmarting clothesline like he used to do back when he was the Brotherhood version of Cody Rhodes when he was 10 years ago when he was teaming with his brother Goldust. But it was similar to that. This is where Cody Rhodes hang off right on the top of the upper left-hand corner turnbuckle, waiting for Shinsuke Nakamura to get back up. He was like, come here. I want you to get up and try to charge at me. This is where he dodges Shinsuke Nakamura by an inch. This is where he jumps right over him. This is where dodging him just by a second away. This is where he hits a power slam, like if he was his best friend Randy Orton and his brother Dustin Rhodes. Like when Shinsuke Nakamura tried to charge at him. This is where the American Nightmare is like Like, I need to finish him to make a point and an example, prime example out of Shinsuke Nakamura. This is where he tried to go for the figure four leg lock, something that he learned from his father's frenemy, the Nature Boy himself. This is where Shinsuke Nakamura flips out of it. This is where he hits a headlock right onto him, right into the middle of the ring. He was like, tap, tap, tap. And this is where Cody Rhodes was like, no, I will never tap out. Like, no, like you, I need to escape. Like, no, and then he managed to get up on his feet. Like, even though Nakamura still was on Cody Rhodes' back. This is where Cody Rhodes took a page out of everybody's counter ability playbook, I should say, like from countering out of sleeper holds like this, especially someone like the Big Show. But being twice less this size, he still get him up, flips him back down, and counters out of it. This is where he went down hard, like desperately hard. This is where he started. This is where he was getting ready to make a huge comeback, which he was. Even with hitting the disaster kick right onto Cody, right onto the Shinsuke Nakamura. But as soon as he tried to go for a pin, the referee counted one, the referee counted two. But Nakamura got his shoulder and arm up, his right arm and right shoulder to be exact, up at 2.1 second, like not wasting time and playing around. But this is where Cody Rhodes was doing the same when he got back up instantly. He gets Shinsuke Nakamura back up. He was like, come on, Shinsuke, come on. This is where he started hitting his daddy's finishing maneuver. Dusty hits the what's that called? The bionic elbow, like with those left hands, like a few times, half a dozen even. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he does the roll like he does, like I do when I say Super Ninja Austin the Assassin. Now he does that roll thingamajig like his father Dusty does, and hit that elbow right to the head onto Shinsuke Nakamura. And then Cody was like, "Ow!" And then this is where this is where he was like, "Come on, Cody, come on, Shinsuke, come on, like I need to come for the kill." This is where the second time was a guaranteed because he went for the Cody cutter and he successfully hit it this time, because of course it did, because it was the guarantee. If the first time didn't work, the second time will. Like, that's in the rules of the wrestling book, unless if you're double cursed, of course. That means you have to get to find the four-leaf clover of good luck in order to get back in your game. But this is where he hits the Cody cutter. Finally, this is where he was getting ready to hit the crossroads. This is where Shinsuke Nakamura flips out of it, spits the red mist again for the second week in a row, right into the eyes of Cody Rhodes. Like, my eye, no. This is where the referee's like, all right, like, what did you do that, Shinsuke Nakamura? Like, it's too late to go back now. Like, referee, ring the bell. Like, ding, 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 ding. Like. And Cody Rhodes like, this stings, like, not again, like, no. This is where Shinsuke Nakamura starts stomping on the head, squeezing on the head, right onto Cody Rhodes. This is where he pushes them right onto the lower left-hand corner of Tina the Turnbuckle. But he turned back and hit a good luck strike right onto the right hand of Shinsuke Nakamura. This is where he tried to go for a left strike, but this is where Shinsuke Nakamura moved out of the way. This is where he hit the drop kick right in the back of the knee of Cody. This is where Shinsuke Nakamura hit a horrific Kinshasa from behind on the back of Cody Rhodes' head, bringing him down right into the ring. And then this is where the Creed brothers scared him off until they came to the aid for Cody Rhodes and helped the paramedics out to pick up Cody Rhodes by getting brutally beaten by the King of Strong Style. That means maybe it's a good idea if there's going to be a DQ finish, Cody Rhodes should win so he can maintain getting wins, whether if it's pinfall, submission, count out, and that includes countouts and disqualifications as well. But this is where referee escorted him out of there. This is where the paramedics try to take Cody Rhodes back, take him to the back, like of getting so he can get so he can get all patched up from getting blinded by the King of Strong Style. That's where they gave him a towel to wipe his eyes off of, and then this is where they try to take him to the back into the doctor's room, and then this is where Shinsuke Nakamura came out of nowhere and hit a flying King Chasa out of nowhere from down the ramp. And this is where Brutus and Julius Creed of the Creed Brothers like, yo, what the hell's your problem? Like, why are you doing that to him? Like, I know you have some kind of beef or some kind of a feud with him that's similar to yours. But that doesn't mean you attack him like this. This is very. This is way too much, even for you, Shinsuke. Like, that's what they're looking at him like. This is where Shinsuke was like, yeah, whatever. I'm just making a statement. I was like, yeah, but if you were making a statement, you would have beaten him, and you would be getting ready to take his spot of finishing that story, that the story that you has yet to written on your book, which is kind of a shame in a way. So I can't get mad at him too much about that. Like, well, I'm not really mad at him. I say hate him, I should say, as this persona. I would say hate him for the sake of Cody Rhodes, of course, the American Nightmare. But yeah. So I'll say it's a shame that he never got a chance because he had the potential of becoming the WWE champion. But that didn't happen because Vince McMahon thought of something totally different with AJ Styles retaining the championship and dragging this feud out until the middle of the summertime. But I'll say this is the second match of the night, and I would say it did deliver in a way, but at the same time, it would have been number one if they would have just gave Cody Rhodes the win. But maybe too soon to give him a pinfall victory, and they're probably going to postpone the win in 3 weeks from now. And gee, I cannot believe 2021 is 21 days from now, like less than a month. Ain't that crazy? Yeah, that's incredibly crazy. Like, what happened to 2023? Like, what happened to the past months and the year genuinely? Like, how overall? But yeah, that was the end of the review of that was the end of Monday Night Raw, and I'll say I would give tonight's Raw a 4-star out of 5 review. Like, just for being such a really good and entertaining show. Like, not the greatest Raw of 2023, but I would say still was a good show. They delivered with their segments, including with CM Punk signing with Monday Night Raw, which was probably the wise choice, so he can be in the future program with Seth freaking Rollins. And we also got who's going to face Gunther with Chad Gable along with Ricochet and Kofi Kingston, with them bumping into CM Punk because Adam Pearce, he had a meeting with Adam Pearce about being in a number one contenders match, which I think Chad Gable's going to win. He's going to be the one that's going to defeat the Ring General. And ever since I've been talking about that, everybody's been wanting to see Chad Gable dethrone Gunther. And I wonder if they saw my pilot episode of the SNA podcast. Only time will tell. But yeah, But I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin. This was the latest edition of the SNA podcast, episode 170, the Monday Night Raw review. The Monday Night Raw review, part 18. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please leave a thumbs up button, comment down below, subscribe, click the bell notification so you can be the first one to know so you won't miss when you upload a new video. And also, we got some good matches with the likes of Maxine Dupree and Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso. And then we have a storytelling moment with Drew McIntyre and Jey Uso going back and forth on who's at fault and who can we trust? Which we'd say Jey Uso. Obviously, I'm not sure about the one. More likely, is Drew McIntyre right or wrong? You still have every right to get revenge on him or forgive him that he's been changed. But yeah, we're gonna see what's next for that feud. we see Rhea Ripley facing a well-motivated Maxine Dupree, even though she lost by submission by getting hit with the riptide in the clover leaf, which she didn't need no four-leaf clover to get the luck to get the win, by the way. But it shows that Maxine Dupree can earn herself another opportunity of being number one contender for the Women's World Championship. But I'll give her like about a couple of years of getting one decent, good run as Women's Championship, in my opinion. Like, if you say, do you think if Maxine Dupree is going to be a Women's Champion, either on Raw or SmackDown, with either the WWE Women's Championship or the Women's World Championship? But for now, we're going to see her being exclusively being around with Chad Gable and Akira Tozawa and Otis. And what's your hot take on what's your favorite part about Monday Night Raw tonight for those who watch? Let me know about that in the comments down below. And what you thought about Raw, let me know in the comments also about that down below. And also subscribe, click the bell notification. You can be the first one so you won't miss my upcoming video, which we will have our next video, which will be the wrestling news part 63, I believe, which will be episode 171 of the SNA podcast, where I'm going to be talking about the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors that you SNA fans need to know from the Sportskeeda article on December 12th, 2023, and along with the NXT review, which will be the post-show NXT review, which will be the post-show NXT, like from NXT Deadline from this past Saturday. We're gonna see what's gonna be next, and we're gonna figure out more questions and more clues who attacked Trick Williams backstage, and also more about who's gonna. And see more about Andre Chase. Have any more to confess about the scandal of the funds of the financial aid of the Chase U has been spent by gambling with the D'Angelo family. And luckily, it's not like he did something inappropriate, which like what us IWC guys thought it was, but rather than just about he had a gambling problem to the point he used Chase U's financial aid funds to play to do more gamblings, to try to double the funds, which you should never use serious money when it comes to gambling. Like, you should use some spare change. Like, it's just like the stock market. Like, it may be a guaranteed, it may not be a guaranteed. Like, it could go up, it could go down. But anyways, but yeah, but in the kayfabe perspective, I'll say that wasn't a good idea. Which I would say, like, if my best recommendation is never, but in the reality perspective, for those out there. Like, please don't gamble your serious money, and do it only with your money you're going to plan on spending on it anyways. Like, fun money, some spare money, like that's gonna who knows, it can help you make more money, or it could just either that or just do it for the fun side of it, even if you didn't win anything or win a little something. Yeah, just do it for the fun side of things and not try to put your hopes and depend your whole life of becoming rich, because it's very risky. At the same time as it could be but at the same time it could be a guaranteed if you're lucky enough. But that's the gambling side of things. But also we're gonna see the Iron Survivor winners, which is Trick Williams and Blair Davenport, which are gonna challenge Ilya Dragunov and Lyra Valkyria for the NXT Men's and Women's Championship. And also we had Cora Jade came back when she attacked Lyra Valkyria from behind. It looks like we could see her face her in a week or two before New Year's Evil when Lyra Valkyria defends against Blair Davenport. But I'll expect I would expect Vile Valkyria retain, and she could be in a program with somebody else that's like an upcoming babyface star, like a Kalani Jordan, for an example. I would say she could be feuding with her for a little while until she gets back in the women's title picture of NXT, or unless she gets called up to the main roster. Whatever her future is, I hope for the best for her. But yeah, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin, on this 170th episode of the SNA podcast of the Raw Review. And hope we all have a great Monday night for the rest of your night. And I'll see you all tomorrow night. Until we see each other again, Super Ninja Austin, the assassin, out. Bye-bye, my SNA fans. Good night.